Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live Connection Podcast number 73. Here with me today, I have Peter down below and Jack over in this direction, I believe. Did I get it right this time?
You got it.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is on my screen, too. Normally, it's different from what the stream perspective is. So, there you go.
This is a miracle. How are you guys doing? It's a wonderful Sunday morning, actually. It's been really nice here the last, week.
Surprisingly nice.
Like it's
have brown Christmas. It looks like.
I know, and now benefit the last few winters we've been pretty dry until like the week of Christmas. So I'd be curious if it does that again. I like a white Christmas. After that, I don't care about snow. It can stay in the mountains and fuck off.
It can stay in the mountains.
Yeah,
there you go.
Stay there so I can go skiing, and that's about it. End of story. I was gonna talk to you guys about something because I was playing. I was playing Fallout 76, but I was also kind of looking in on Destiny a little bit because I know Eric and I mentioned we were going to check out Destiny 2's new expansion. So I launched it up just to see what changed. Obviously, quite a bit has changed since I played it. But one thing that actually kind of came to mind, and I really annoyed me and has annoyed me throughout different games is about you know how back in, let's use Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 as a great example. Halo's also a great example of this. Halo 3, I believe, has one of the more notable examples of this. Challenges to earn cosmetics and skins and things like that. It used to be back in the day where, you'd see someone running around with a diamond skin on a gun in Call of Duty and you're like, fuck, that guy really put in the effort to get that skin.
He got 10,000
that's crazy.
Headshots.
Yeah, that man he deserves that skin. He's earned it. From what I was listening to another podcast, and they talked about how Halo was like that. There was an armor in Halo 3 that you had to complete all the challenges, and it was as soon as you saw that armor, you were like, man, that person did some fucking grinding to get that armor. And it just made me think, because nowadays I don't even care what anyone has cosmetically, because to me, you can just buy it. And most of these people do just buy it. Microtransactions have almost made gamers overprivileged, because as soon as there's a challenge to get something, they get mad about it. You look at a lot of things, some games would be oh, you're on release, you get this special skin. Okay, you're the only one that gets that skin. But then all of a sudden, a couple months later, because so many people were complaining about it, they release it to be bought, and you can buy the skin and have the exact same skin. I just find that it's I miss challenging to earn something. I miss being able to be you know what, me having the skin is awesome. Dead by Daylight's a great example. Detective Tapp now is a bloody jam mess from head to toe, and I know I'm proud of that, because that's 3 prestiges with the same character, right? And that's awesome. You earned that skin. It just blows me away that it no longer is like that really in a lot of bigger games. You kind of just, all they care about is can we get someone to buy this? But you push away people that like those challenges. I liked those challenges back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and stuff like that, where you actually had to use a gun and get good with the gun in order to get anything for it. I don't know, it's been kind of bugging me throughout my Destiny 2 play again, because I see it a lot where it's I go into their store and it's literally you can buy fucking everything. It doesn't matter what it is. The only thing you can't buy is apparently if you're the first person to finish a raid that's released, you get some hoodie email or mailed to you that you get to wear saying you did that. So that's pretty unique, but you just don't have a lot of that anymore. And I feel like games are lacking that, especially multiplayer games, where I think cosmetics are a pretty major thing, but at the same time it's nice to earn that. But it seems there's that gaming generation gap where it's you have people who used to want to earn it, and now you have the people that are just let me fucking buy it. I don't want to play this game long enough to earn it.
How much do you think this is being pushed on by the consumers versus the companies, though? I see it as the companies are yes, money, microtransactions.
Yeah, I see it as the companies want the money. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. So that's kind of, I see it from both sides for sure, but yeah, I think the most egregious examples of it, the Fortnites of the world, the Overwatches of the world.
Yeah.
Like something like Overwatch, Fortnite. Can you even like earn the skins through anything? You have to like buy it through microtransactions. Can't
I think you can get some skins through special events, and that is it. I think the rest of them you have to buy.
Well, yeah, I think it's all through the battle pass mainly. I don't know, but yeah, no, it's behind paywalls though, regardless.
Yeah, I know personally, and I know a lot of people share this sentiment. As much as microtransactions tend to suck, most people prefer it when it's like just cosmetic and it's not something that gives you an actual edge. Because like I know in Destiny, you can get like a lot of stuff through that lady, that broker, but who like sells a lot of good stuff, and you can just like buy in-game currency to like get a lot of the like really good upgrades through her at the Citadel or whatever it's called, right? So like stuff like that does bug me because like, yeah, this money you're spending is giving you like an actual in-game advantage, which is a little bit crazy, I think. But yeah, for sure, it's dumb when you can't like earn cosmetics. And you're right, Dead by Daylight is good about that. But still, a game that has a ton of microtransactions, you can buy skins. There's a smaller amount of skins that you earn towards what you buy. Like for example, I bought the Rift Pass or the Seasons Pass or whatever it's called in Dead by Daylight, and as I'm getting the Rift Fragments, I'm getting skins. Yeah, I'm earning them through like playing the game, but unless you buy the Seasons Pass, you don't get the right to earn them, which is also kind of a strange way to do it.
Yeah, I just find like it's like you lose that uniqueness. Like you almost take away that that kind of, again, shock factor. Like when I haven't played Halo 3 online enough to even venture on this, but from what I've listened to, there was that one challenge skin was like super impressive as someone got it, because apparently it's ridiculous what you had to do to get it. So I don't know. I feel like you lose that pride almost for people that are like, you know, oh, we have all these cool challenges in games and stuff like that, but there's no like true thing that symbolizes you finished them, right? And I think that that's where I feel like a lot of games are losing that edge to that. Like even in, I'll use Assassin's Creed because I'm playing that, and Ubisoft is no stranger to microtransactions. Let's be honest.
Time savers, Jarrod, as we call them in Ubisoft land.
You can buy every skin from like anything, doesn't matter. There's like a few skins you have to get from exploring in the world, but you can literally buy, I was looking through their store, you can buy a map that highlights all the collectibles. Everything. So it really eliminates your need to use Odin's site, which is like basically it highlights everything when you hold it down, or highlights things and locations, but they just give it away, and I'm just like, what happened? Like, I mean, I play it with that benefactor because I like to, you know, find things. I like to work for it. If I get really frustrated, there's YouTube, and I'll fucking YouTube how to fucking find it. But I don't know. I just feel like it'd be nice to have a bit of that back in some more games, but where like, it's
it's not like they're making you buy it. It's just there for people who are lazy.
No, but it's like, it's a good example again is with Destiny when Graydon brought up last podcast, I believe, where we played it and we grinded the shit out of it. Like to get to where we were, it took us months, and then everyone came and played Destiny with us, and immediately had surpassed us within seconds of launching the game. It was like, hey, you're our equals.
Isn't that a unique example, though? Because you got it when it released, and then by the time we got it, we were already well into, like, expansion land. And, like, in a live service game, I feel like they just kind of have to do that.
Well, you can say that, but they don't. Like, you could have options where, I mean, this is where it doesn't really impact. I mean, I guess the multiplayer in Destiny doesn't change. Like, you're leveled equally in multiplayer. Like, everything's just, you're on a flat equal plane. There's no difference. The light levels and stuff really matter for raids and missions and shit like that. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just kind of bullshit. Like, I just feel like it'd be nice to have that little bit. Like, you have that option not to, but at the same time, you lose incentive to when the thing you work so hard for, someone literally was like, click, I got it. And they can have the same bragging rights regardless of regardless of anything, right?
I mean, that was different. That wasn't a microtransaction. That was something they gave us for just buying the game
That's true.
at that point.
No, true. But in general with microtransactions, you lose that you have equal bragging right without equal effort. In my opinion, is kind of where they lose it.
So
And I don't mean everything. Like have your microtransactions, but have unique things for people who, support you early, have faith in your game early by pre-ordering, have faith, are like long-term members of your game. Like say you, for example, let's use Halo because they've got a stupid amount of games. Say you've bought every single Halo, you have an online profile for every single Halo, right? And you've played it through. Maybe by the next time when Infinite releases, they give you a special skin that it's like, hey, thanks for supporting us through all the years, regardless of the game. So I just think like they need more stuff like that because right now what they do is they're like, thanks for supporting us. Hey, Johnny over there, you just bought the game. You can buy the same thing that he just got. Come on, let's do it. Right? Like I just feel like you don't really give your long-term people much reason to come back to the game or much reason to like be like, hey, I'm supporting you. Here you go. Instead of being like, just I don't know. I feel like, for example, a good example is Cyberpunk for you, Peter. Like I feel like for everyone who pre-ordered it on because you pre-ordered it on like announcement day. Like as soon as you could pre-order it, you pre-ordered it, correct?
Yeah, like in 2017, 2018.
See, someone like that, they should like be able to acknowledge this and be like, okay, you know what? Because you pre-ordered on like the first day you could pre-order it, you get a special skin or you get a special something, right? Like I feel like that'd be at least a little bit. Would you not feel good having something little come your way for being like immediately, I'm supporting you for this?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say no to a pat on the head being recognized for the loyal dog I am to Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so I just feel like they lose a lot of people though when they don't do that. Like it'd be nice for them to return the to the gamers that do support them, and there's a lot of companies that do. I'm not saying every company. This is mostly tailored towards AAA companies because usually the smaller companies tend to actually play more with their community than larger companies. But I mean, that's obviously there's anomalies on both ends. But I don't know. I feel like there should be more of that. There should be more like rewarding gamers who are really big fans of the company or really big fans or big supporters of the game, regardless of like how bad it may be or how good it may be.
I just feel like you don't win either way. New players are gonna get upset if you give old players stuff. Old players are gonna get upset if you give new players stuff. Like,
yeah,
people suck.
No. It always is interesting. I don't have that moment anymore where I had in old games where it's like, oh man, that person got that skin. That's fucking insane. Like that's crazy. I just don't have that anymore. Like I go into a game, I see a skin, I'm like, oh, that's a cool skin, and then I can go into the store and be like, oh, I can buy that skin for this amount of money.
Is it just a multiplayer game problem for you?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. I think it's some of the single player stuff too, because like they don't really give too much away anymore in a lot of single player games either, unless you buy like the super ultra mega edition of the game that's $300 and you get a tiny little statue of whatever fucking main character is in the game.
But it only includes the first season pass, not the second.
Yeah, you got to buy the second. Don't get ahead of yourself. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. And then the last few, like you hear about them doing stuff like that, where it's like, oh, we're gonna reward you for buying this edition of the game or whatever, and getting this. And then you hear shit like what happened with 76, where they had the power armor helmet and had like a Festus or mold in it or something. I forget what it was, but they had mold in them, and I was just like, when do you lose care about your community when it's like, here's this cheap piece of shit that you spent stupid amounts of money on?
Fallout 76,
it's going to potentially kill you.
It's such a great rabbit hole for a whole bunch of reasons like that. Like there's the game itself, and then there's so many other things around it too that just are horrible. Like the rum too or whatever that they're like promising people. And then it was just this garbage quality product, the rum and the bottle. Ugh.
Yeah. I was laughing. Like, you're totally right. That is 100% one of the. You can almost every issue in the gaming world can almost be linked in some aspect to that game. That game encompasses. It's like the prime example for almost any issue in the industry
Don't do
right now.
any of this.
Yeah. The
Oh,
canvas bag. Love the canvas bag.
Yeah.
I broke down laughing because they released a new DLC for it, and it was supposed to come out December 4th, but they pushed it out December 1st. And they're like, "Hey, guess what, guys? It's out early," and we're like, "What the fuck is that even? Like, why?" It's a free.
That's strange.
It was the oddest marketing thing I've ever seen. I was like, "How is that? That's not even." That doesn't even make any sense. Then why'd you not just put it as a release date on the 1st instead of the 4th, instead of being like, hey, it's out on the 4th. Oh, just kidding, it's out on the 1st.
Just to sidetrack that a little bit, that is such a weird. I'm thinking like how I would react to that, because when I really am excited for something to be released, or I'm looking forward to a day to like get something, I'm always like, man, I wish I could do this right now. And it's like if it actually showed up 3 days earlier than what I was anticipating, I'd be like, I'm suspicious now. I was expecting to get this 3 days later than what I actually did, and now I'm not sure if I trust this product anymore. Why did you push this out? What was the ploy here to get this out on a different day?
I feel like you'd be more suspicious of a game being pushed out early than a game being delayed. Like, I feel like you're almost put on high alert as soon as something comes out. Or you're like, yeah, exactly what you said, Jack. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this game that you released it early?
Someone accidentally pressed a button. They're like, yeah, it's out now, guys. Yeah, enjoy.
And it never happens, Like,
oh man,
no one's ever like, we're releasing our game early. It's like, nah, we gotta delay by a few weeks.
Yeah, like I was
months.
so confused when I saw it. I was just like, what? I don't usually like gaming news, whatever. When you see delays, it's like, oh man, that's shitty. Or if you see some issues that they found with the game, oh shitty. But that I literally paused for a second when I read that, and I was sitting there going, I was trying to like process what the fuck I just read and how that even makes sense. But it was just, yeah, what an odd marketing scheme. Just, yeah. I don't even know how to word it other than that.
Speaking of marketing schemes, have you guys seen how in stores there's all this Halo promo stuff everywhere? Like on on bags of chips and pop stuff like that.
Oh, for the new Halo game?
Yeah. The Halo game that doesn't have a release date anymore?
I like how what that comes across to me is like they were like, man, we already fucked up. We bought all these marketing shit, and we're just gonna go with it.
And they were like,
just roll with it.
We gotta do it twice, I guess.
Is it like the same kind of marketing for like the Call of Duty where they put like the codes on Dorito bags and like Mountain Dew bottles?
Yeah, okay. But it's just like Halo, but what Halo?
How many Dorito bags can you collect before Halo comes out?
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, like, that's actually kind of interesting, because I remember when, like, I think it was like Modern Warfare 3 or like one of the big Call of Duty releases when it was like the biggest game on Earth every year. Like, it was like, put your code in from your Mountain Dew bottle and your Doritos bag for a chance to win double XP for a year or something like that. It was something to that effect.
I
never really did that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, neither did I.
I'd always like see it. I'm like, the odds of me winning that is gonna be nothing, because I'm not gonna bother.
The only thing that I really will participate in is like roll up the rim from Timmy's, because there's no effort required on your part. I went to Dairy Queen like a week ago and we got like a drink, and they had the same thing, roll up the rim to receive your code. It was like, okay, so if I go to the website and it wants my email, so I'm just throwing this cup out now. I don't trust Dairy Queen not to send me shit for the rest of my life.
Either
I don't care if I do win a lawnmower
or get hacked and leak your info.
Yeah, exactly.
I was over at Mark's buying some work clothes, and that just reminded me of this, because like how much do you think someone has to get bitched at before they start saying, when they use your email to send like a receipt or something, they literally have to voice to you, I didn't sign you up for any kind of promo. Like how often do you think that single employee had to get yelled at by people who are like, don't you send me no promotional shit. Don't you fucking do it. Just my receipt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I paused, I kind of was like, okay. I was like, whatever. I just deactivate it as soon as I get them if you do. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I just like I felt bad almost. I was like, man, something bad happened to you in your time here at Mark's that you
But like at the
you
same
really
time, do I really need my receipt emailed to me? Can't I just make my
No.
transaction and move on?
right? Like I feel like any of the big ones, fair enough. Like you're making a massive purchase and you're like, I need this for warranty purposes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fair enough. But for little things, like I literally bought some socks and like a shirt, and I was like, man, it doesn't matter. You can key. It's. I just spent $30. It's not gonna break me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just find it. Yeah. I didn't Tim Hortons, didn't they move theirs to all online now? Like it's not even like a roll up the rim anymore. Isn't it like a scan on their app and then you get entered into something?
I don't think they just didn't do it this year. I think.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm not sure if they did because it happens in February and I was in Australia. So did they do it this year?
I swear they did something. There was something that people were complaining about it. I know they did it. I just don't remember what they were complaining about. I think it had something to do with them being like, it no longer was the roll up the rim. It was like, I forget what exactly it was, but it was something. It was kind of that unnecessary step that you talked about with Dairy Queen, where it's like, oh, give us your email and do this and.
Well, I know
something
that
along those lines.
Yeah, I know that they have like the rewards card and they have the app with the QR code that you can scan. For some reason, I've just never bothered to get it, even though I'm at Tim's getting a coffee like 3 or 4 times a week, probably. So I probably should just download the fucking app.
Yeah, I was in that exact same boat. Like when it first came out, I was like, I go to Tim's a couple times a week, but I don't want this fucking app. So it went, like months and months go by, and I was finally like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll get the app.
I did that. I did that with Shoppers. No, I got their Optimum card because my mom was like, I was shopping in there with her, and I never had it before because I was like, oh, I get little things. Like I go get like body wash or like deodorant or something from Shoppers just because they have the best like variety that you can choose from. And anyways, I go in and then we're shopping around. We go to shop out, and my mom's just like, just use all her Optimum or use some of her Optimum points to pay for shit. And I was like, I should really fucking get this card because this is the only place I buy this stuff from. And they rack up real quick, Optimum points. Like they do not mess around. Like I think I had them for like 2 weeks and I already got like a free body wash when I went there last time. So I was like, that's pretty worth it. But I mean, I've done that a few times with cards like that or like membership cards or anything like that. Like I never really sign up even on websites. I don't sign up for profiles or anything. I'll just check out as a guest. But I started to like
sorry. I had to derail the conversation a little bit. The way you're telling the story makes it sound like you buy a fuck ton of body wash and shampoo.
No.
Like you always need to buy like a thing of body wash is like that big. It's like twice the size of some like shampoo containers. Like, I don't think I could go through a thing of body wash in an entire year if I tried.
Really? Oh, no, I go through... What do you mean? Because I get one that's they're like this, and they're like maybe that wide in diameter. About that tall. Because I get the Old Spice one. I have it over there. They're not that big. I don't get, like, the massive ones.
Jared's just here trying to, like, simulate a bubble bath in his shower. Like, just lathering himself up. That's why his skin's so nice.
I actually started to get a loofah because it saves body wash because it foams up so you don't have to use as much. So I just like do a little squirt of body wash and then go for it. But
Jared,
yeah,
can I shower with you so I can like so we can share the body wash so I can save some money?
I've actually we had to up our showering because at the clinic. The rules are if you work at the clinic, as soon as you're done, you have to go home and shower, change clothes, all of it, because we're working like contact to contact with people. So I have like now, I think each week I'll have at least like 2 showers a day.
Fuck.
Because like I'll work out in the morning because I don't have motivation nights. I work out in the morning and I have to go to a clinic, so I'm not gonna go fucking all sweaty and gross to the clinic. So I shower, get in my work clothes, and then after I'm done at the clinic, I literally have to come straight home. It is I shit you not, it is a $1,200 or $12,000 fine if from my governing body in my field if I don't do that and they catch you. So it's just like not worth it. So anyways, I had to come back, I have to shower.
How do they catch you?
They check your body wash. How much
How much body wash did you use this week?
They randomly audited the clinic.
Gotta check your Shoppers Drug Mart receipts.
No, they're doing
Optimum card.
They're doing random audits. It's really shitty. They had someone actually lose their license last week. One of my buddies did, which is not good because that's like 4 years of education also out the window.
Yeah, it's a lot of time and money.
Yeah, because you have to do the 4 years and then do the certification, and then he lost all of it. And I was like, that's fucking.
They did an audit of his showering habits.
No, they do an audit of every, like you have to, they audit you at your clinic because the clinic rules also dictate this. So where you're working, they audit that. I mean, I believe he got caught, someone reported him and that was part of the issue. I'm pretty sure he was reported wearing the same clothes 2 days in a row. And that's also like a no-go in the field. Like you're supposed to change everything, like pants, shirt. I've done more laundry in the last fucking
the dots
like
are connected.
half year than I've done ever. Like it's ridiculous. I have to do because I only have so many jeans. I'm not gonna go buy or like dress pants. I'm not gonna go buy 5 pairs of each just to fucking do one load of laundry, right? So it's crazy. It's fucked. But
Wow.
they've also been they also upped us now that restrictions in Alberta have increased. They upped us for it's a much larger fine than what I just said if you get caught breaking the COVID bylaws. So it's a great day in the world of healthcare practitioners. I know that Kairos Physios, the nursing board, also up there as well. Their fine's extremely huge.
Find the image of like audited and like showering properly being part of that regulations. Just like someone from the health board showing up. It's like, all right, get in the shower. I need to make sure you're washing your dick correctly for COVID times. If you don't fucking do a deep scrub and then change into fresh linens, you're never going to work in this business again.
Intro to a porn video or something.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Porn series.
Yeah. The COVID edition.
But anyways, yes, I'm sure the PC Optimum card is very worth it. I mean, some rewards programs, they just make sense, you know?
Very few, I find.
I find the coffee ones are all right. Like I find most of them are pretty decent.
Like Peter,
Starbucks is really weird because like Bobby has Starbucks and it's like they give discounts on unnecessary things. Like you gather up points and instead of like most places like, oh, get a free coffee or get a free, I don't know, donut or something, right? Like you get something free. They're like, get a free milk alternative. Get a free sugar alternative. I was looking at Bobby's app on her phone and I was like, who the fuck is going to like waste their time? I don't go up and be like, I have a free milk alternative. Can you put this on my
premium milk?
I just find it stupid. It's like just do it. Like have a free coffee. No one gives a shit about like 10 cents of a difference.
Free, not like 10% of it.
Starbucks is really weird. So the last person that I was seeing obviously worked at Starbucks, and she showed me like some of the stuff that. Because she had the app, and like the way that it works is so weird. Because like I don't go to Starbucks because I don't know how it works. It's like, okay, idiot.
Same.
Okay, you fucking moron. I'm gonna teach you how to order a drink at Starbucks. You want to get a coffee? Here's how you do it. And then she's like showing me all these things on the app. I'm just like, you can just like buy whole ass bananas from Starbucks. Why is Starbucks selling bananas? Apparently, Starbucks has so many bananas for like smoothies and like this one banana based drink that they have that they're throwing fucking bananas out every goddamn week.
Oh, of course they are. Fuck.
Like just chucking bananas into the dumpster. So she was like, so I always just bring the bananas home with me and put them in the freezer to make banana bread. I'm like, how much banana bread do you make? None. It's like, so you're like everyone else on the fucking earth. You're bringing bananas home, chucking them in the freezer. Then you got a freezer full of bananas that you're never gonna fucking use. I derailed the conversation about the rewards program. I don't know how it works for Starbucks. I'm never going to go to Starbucks, so it doesn't matter. And I was like, so if I want to order a coffee from Starbucks, it's like, oh yeah, you just give them like the size that you want. You told me how the sizes work, and like,
I fucking hate the sizes.
I know, I fucking hate the sizes too, Jarrod.
I refuse to order that way. I say large. I don't fucking say grande. I'm not saying grande.
I think grande is actually one of the smaller ones.
It's the medium, I think.
Yeah, venti is the big one, I think.
What the
grande
fuck?
sounds
Grande
large.
is big!
Yeah, right? No, the venti.
Peter, you're Italian.
I don't support this. I don't support it at all.
And then I'm like, okay, so if I want to get a coffee, I've got to order the size and the roast that I want. So I've got to know what kind of like the names of the coffees. Like, yeah, so Pike's Place is the big one. So I'm like, okay, so instead of learning the names of 700 different coffees, I'll just get a Pike's Place with cream and sugar. It's like, no, you have to add cream and sugar yourself at Starbucks. The Starbucks employees won't even put cream and sugar in the coffee for me? I can only order a black coffee at Starbucks, and then everything else is under my control?
Literally, the only time I will go to Starbucks is if Bobby wants to go to Starbucks, or if she like wants a coffee and she decides she wants to go there. Then I'll be like, "You're ordering it. I'm not fucking go. I hate this place. You can order it. I'll get one because whatever. Coffee's coffee. Don't really care. But I'm not ordering. I refuse. I refuse to call things by their size at all. Like I'm like, fuck that. No, I go to large. You can determine based on your various size map there what my large should be, but I want a large. Yeah. You know what's funny? It's like you see some places where because we were out at Heritage Park the other day, and they have like whatever, you go to Heritage Park like once in like 5 years, and so on. So things are more expensive. Fair enough, it supports the park. It's like a non-profit park, really, besides they like charge $5 for the gate, and that's it. So anyways, they offering, because it's their Christmas time, so they're offering these special hot chocolates. So we go in and I was like, can we get a hot chocolate? And she's like, do you want the premium special hot chocolate or the regular hot chocolate? And I'm looking over and they just have like one of those thermos machines that you can just like press the button and it comes out. And I'm like, it's got one button. You literally press to drain. How do you get a premium hot chocolate? Anyways, I'm like, sure, let's humor this. Let's get 2 premium hot chocolates. It's fucking $10. That drink is like this big. And all the only extra thing they added to it, they put whipped cream on top. It's a premium hot chocolate. I was like, man, if again, I don't go there enough to like really worry about it. It's helping the park, whatever. It gives you money to keep the park running. But I just was laughing so hard. I was like, and your comment, Jack, about not being like cream and sugar just made me laugh about that. It's like, what is the point? Like, just add that shit.
Jared, you can add cream and sugar. You just got to do that at the station, like the Starbucks has set up next to the employees.
See,
I guess it makes sense because the Starbucks employees have to know how to make like several thousand different drinks. So I get it's probably not that easy being a Starbucks employee and being a walking encyclopedia of pumpkin spice bullshit. But like to make that easier, the head office is like, all right, these fucking lazy bastards can add their own cream and sugar.
Like you go to anywhere else. Like I go to Great and I go to Second Cup fair bit just because my mom knows the owners pretty good over at the one near us, and like we'll go there and all Second Cups, like if you ask them, they'll add cream and sugar, but they also have it so that you can add it yourself in case you don't want someone else adding your cream and sugar. I can't believe that Starbucks isn't willing to, like, I know they have it, but I'm surprised they're not willing to just like add it for you if you ask for it. I feel like that's poor customer service, to be honest, because like, yeah, they have to know a lot of those drinks, but I mean, Alex told me that a lot of the time they have the drinks list in front of them, like for the main drinks, like the specialty drinks in front of them when she's been working there.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like adding cream and sugar, that's not really, of all your things, that should be like a relief. You're like, oh, good, I just have to add cream and sugar to this coffee.
You would think. And you just know that some angry people go to Starbucks. You just know that that's not a good place to work from a customer service perspective.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. Peter, do you find like the Tim Hortons app to be worth it? Do you find, because you use it now, right? That's what you were saying.
Yeah. It's fine. The app doesn't do enough for me to get like excited about using it or anything. Like, oh hell yeah, I got another coffee, whatever. But you get the 7th coffee free, and it's fine. It's if I'm gonna be buying the coffee anyway, if I can get a free one, even better.
Right.
That's how I've started to look at it. Like most of, because I have the Second Cup app, and it's like they don't give you a ton of points, but every 4th or 5th coffee, I'll get a free one, and that's whatever.
All these reward programs, they just make me mad because like the companies get so much data out of it, and then they offer just like crumbs to the consumer. Like, every 7th coffee, you get a medium for free. Enjoy that. Like, oh, wow, thank you. I'll just.
But then you got to ask yourself, right? Because then whenever you hear about it occasionally, it doesn't happen super often, but you hear occasionally when a company removes something from the menu that was obviously a major selling point for them, and you just have like an uproar in the people that love that place. And it's weird, like they gather all the data, that a lot of your consumers are buying this product, and then you just decide one day you're like, we don't want this. It's gone. It's off the menu.
Jarrod, after the outrage, you're like, okay, well, it's back and it's better than ever.
Yeah.
This thing that you want.
I know, but that pisses me off even more. Because they know what they're doing. They make you want it, and then they're like, here you go.
They're just stirring the pot.
Mm. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but just talking kind of derail us from our coffee ventures of wonderful coffee apps. Back to our gaming roots. BioWare, they talked about how there's more stuff coming for Dragon Age at the Game Awards show.
2 big pieces of BioWare news this week.
One, I missed
you, Jarrod. You missed the really big one. I don't know how you managed it, but you did it.
I've been offline I've been not really following social media too much this week.
He's been in the shower all week.
Yeah, I've been in the shower all week.
That
3 or 4 times.
Has to get used somehow. So Jarrod, I know you know some names in the gaming world that you like Pete Hines, Todd Howard, Dwayne Johnson.
Don't get me started about Dwayne. I can't handle when you talk about Dwayne.
What about Casey Hudson? Does that name do anything for you, Jarrod?
Isn't it an actor?
No, he directed the Mass Effect trilogy, so like the game direction and a lot of the vision was his brainchild, as far as I understand, at least. So we got the news this week that both he and the what is it? The executive producer behind the Dragon Age game, they have both abruptly left the studio.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, and so I just think it's really interesting timing with like N7 Day last month, like, hey, we got a new Mass Effect coming. It was this guy, Casey Hudson, that like announced it all, saying like, yeah, we're really excited about it. Now a month later, he's like, yeah, okay, I'm leaving. Bye.
I'd be curious. There's a few things that would cause me to be curious about this. The first thing is, I believe if he was involved in the Mass Effect games, he would have already been involved in Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been that he didn't want to. And this is speculation. Like, there's lots of reasons why someone could.
It's all speculation.
Leave, right? Right. There's lots of reasons someone could leave, but it could also be that maybe he did want to change the direction Mass Effect was going to more towards something like Andromeda, and then they wanted to revert in the other direction. Or it could have been the reverse. Maybe BioWare wants to do a better version of Andromeda, because they did talk about how I don't know how much you guys actually played or know about Andromeda, but one of the new alien species was the Angar. And in the little picture they released on N7 Day for the new Mass Effect, it showed like 3 different figures, and one looked distinctly like a Solarian, so it's most likely a Solarian. I think the other one, I forget what the other one looked like, and then they had like one that looked like an Angar. So that a lot of people were like, "Oh no, is this like supposed to be a sequel to Andromeda, or is it supposed to be like?" There's a bit of panic when you looked at some of the messages surrounding it, but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of like anything else. Like people run their cycle at a company, and they need to get out and do something new, right?
Here's some more interesting information. Now, in August 2014, he left BioWare, and so then a couple months later, Dragon Age Inquisition releases. Okay, interesting. We jump to March 2017, Mass Effect Andromeda releases, got the reception it did. Then all of a sudden, Casey Hudson in July rejoins BioWare. It was like EA was like, these people cannot do Mass Effect. We need the Mass Effect man.
Interesting.
Yeah, so now, because it was in 2014, he left to pursue other creative projects. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at BioWare, but there just seems to be turbulence.
Well, let's just say this. I am looking forward to one thing and one thing only right now, and that is the remaster of the trilogy that I love.
They can't ruin that.
And until then, you know what? When they release a new Mass Effect game, I'll play it, and I will take it at whatever value it is, and I will go in. I do not have. In the beginning, anyways, I did not have high expectations of the new Mass Effect, just because of what they would go in the direction they were going. Dragon Age was pretty fun. Inquisition was a good game when Grid and I played it. It was really well done. It was long, but it was really fun. So I don't know about Dragon Age, the new Dragon Age. I really don't know anything about how because that game didn't really do bad, and to have him leave could just be like a creative difference.
Yeah, we don't know. It's but the timing is just all like,
Yeah, it's odd. It's very odd. It'd be too tough to see for now, but to say for now, but it'd be interesting to see. I'm curious now. It makes me more curious about how the new game is going. Because it always is a bit of a shaky thing when you have people leaving like that. Because I mean, didn't 363 or
343?
343. Sorry, they have their like main director leave as well. After Infinite or the kind of crash
during in the development of Infinite. Yeah, they had like early on they had like an executive producer or someone important like that leave, and then like in the last 2 months they had like another key people leave. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
I'm starting to think this is what happens. So working at all these companies is like microtransactions. You can only buy into it for so long, and then you have to leave. And the people who buy more from them, they get to stay longer.
They said it was just cosmetic at first.
I got the title of the CFO. It's slightly concerning, but
I mean,
at the same time, there's a lot of games that I'm sure that I don't know. This is again speculation. I'm sure there's a lot of games where even good developers were involved in it and they still didn't do well. So, I kind of want to say that maybe they're trying to test some new blood in there as well. Like see if they. Like maybe they worked together, and he was there as more of the mentor figure for the program to kind of get it going in the right direction, and then they wanted to give it to more of the a younger team to give them a chance to take it and go with it. So it could have been something like that, where it was a temporary thing to begin with, where they were just like, hey, we need your help, Casey, come help us, please get this in the right direction. And then they decided, and then it was only like that term thing where he just was there to get them going, and then they were to take it and go with it, right?
Well, yeah, because like the new Mass Effect, it's supposed to be like super, super early in development. Like,
yeah.
So it's still got a lot of growing to do.
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it's that. I'm hoping it's more of he was there for like creative direction, and then after that it's going to be whatever they need. But
so just like on this topic of teams and individuals and them, Do you guys feel like with something as grand as a video game, like where it requires so many different people, different talents to really all come together, are like key people like this, like, do you consider that almost more important than the name of the team? Like, yeah, you got like Rockstar, who we know makes great games, but are the individuals leading the projects important to you guys?
I feel like they're important for connecting the ideas, and maybe again giving like helping expand on those ideas. But I think it's more of the team that brings them together. Like, you got to look, it's a whole cause, like it's a whole mechanism, right? Like, if you lose one, if one area is kind of shitting the bed, most of the time the game's just going to suffer no matter what, right? Like, it doesn't matter which section or which sector's shitting the bed, one's going to fuck up the other. So I mean, I feel like they're important for a leadership standpoint and like directing and taking ideas and pushing them in that direction, but I don't think like formulating the ideas they're necessarily the most important.
You can definitely see when there isn't a unifying, like, creative director behind a project. You can see what happens. One that I always sort of point at from that perspective is Ken Levine, who was the director of the original BioShock and BioShock Infinite, but he didn't have anything to do with BioShock 2. And sort of the difference between those three games, and how eventually he left to start doing his own indie thing, and no one really knows what he's up to right now. I follow him on Twitter, and everyone's like waiting with bated breath to see what this new thing that he's working on is, but no one's got any clue what's going on. So I do think you need like those people who have like that creative vision in their head to push things forward. Like, and in some cases, sometimes you need those people to like get the full product out, because as people have pointed out, BioShock Infinite was going to be even much more expansive and ambitious than what the product we eventually got was, even though it is still a pretty damn good game. Sometimes you're held back in other regards. So I do think you need those people who are important to the project. It's very vital, in fact.
Like Kojima's got his big name for a reason, right? Like the things that come out of that guy's brain are just nuts.
I do think though that you do need to change it when it becomes corrosive to a team. Like, you can have, like, you need that person, but you need to find the right one that works well with the team you're using. And if you don't have that chemistry, it doesn't really matter how good the creative vision is if your team doesn't trust in the vision itself, right? So I feel like it also comes down to finding both a team and a director that really complement each other, right. and maybe that's where they failed to see it.
I think that's normally I would agree with that thought process if BioWare wasn't owned by EA.
Well, I wasn't just talking about BioWare though. I'm just talking in general, and like game teams in general. I think I know Graydon's on this as well. I didn't mind BioShock 2. It wasn't as developed of a story, and it kind of rushed things a little bit to get the game like going. Like, you had like things that took quite a while in BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite to get. They kind of just threw at you in BioShock 2 right away. It's like you all of a sudden had all your plasmids pretty much in the first 2 levels of the game. But I don't know. I didn't mind it, but just talking about game companies in general, I think you need to find, if they're not complementing each other anymore, or maybe they're frustrated with each other, you need to either find a team that's better to work with the director, or you need to find a director that's better to work with the team and kind of push the team in that direction. It's also, I feel like it'd be tough. I mean, I've never created a game to I've never created a game, period, but I've never created a game to a success of some of these people. It must be tough to get out of that. When you've had something so successful, to get out of that kind of nook of that, like,
well, it's like Daniel Radcliffe,
we had this really successful thing.
Like, that man cannot escape that shadow.
Well,
yeah. So I feel like it's tough sometimes. Like, sometimes a great director who's done an amazing thing just can't make it any better than it is, and then you need someone else to come in and maybe add some hints to that. But at the same time, how new do you bring in before you lose what was good about the original product, right? So it's tough. I feel like it's a tough line to walk. But yes, take it as you will. When EA owns a company, either they just got absolutely slapped around and told, "Hurry up, get the fucking game out," or something else magical happened.
I think that ultimately what a team would, well, in video games and anything, I assume it's just a consistent vision. Everyone always knows what we're working towards. Like, I think of Anthem, and from what I understand from being around its development, no one really know what the end product was exactly going to look like. They knew they wanted flying Iron Mans and multiplayer, but like the rest of it was pretty vague until like the last like year or two of development. And I think like having these really notable directors or not, I think having a consistent vision that's very clearly defined is really key to big projects like this, multi-year projects.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that inconsistency can come from both parties, right? It can come from the development team, and it can also come from the director. Like if the director's constantly being like, actually, we're gonna change this. We wanted to go this way, and the team's like, well, fuck, we just put in all this effort to make it go in this direction, and then vice versa. Maybe the team starts causing some chaos that way. It'd be tough. I think you got to take I want to give the teams more of a benefit of the doubt that they, obviously you have bad days and you have bad games that get released. But you got to take with a grain of salt what the games did good too. Like, although it's not even a disputed fact that Mass Effect Andromeda is nowhere near the quality, like story wise or like RPG wise as Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 were. But I mean, to take some good things from it, like the story was a little bit weak. The whatever weird colors they decided to use, I don't know what they were really trying to prove by using that. I don't know if there was like a goal of that. But I mean, the good things that came out of it, the combat was better. Like, it is one of the few things that I really thought they really improved, and Mass Effect needed an improvement on, was they had a pretty clunky combat system in most of their other games. But so just take some of the good stuff and then adapt it. And the creative director, who knows, maybe he just didn't want to take anything from it. He wanted just one single way. And the team disagreed, because again, if you have that disagreement, you're going to be on two different pages, right? You're also going to, you're not going to have that cohesiveness to make a good game. You're going to always be fighting each other. And that's when you just have a shit game come out, as much as you do when you don't have a single vision, right?
It's not just video games. I think I should point out that this is very I think broad, important. Yeah. It's when you're doing projects like this, I think it comes from the writer's room to everyone else in a lot of ways. One example I like to think of that I think Jarrod can probably relate to is the Clone Wars animated show, where they took some pretty shitty movies in the prequels, and they were like, all right, we're going to fix this. And a lot of that comes down from the passion of the people who are writing it. I think Dave Filoni was the big one behind Clone Wars. And, you've got a huge team of people that have to animate that and direct that and produce that, but it's from the top. Kind of the same with the Mandalorian. You got Favreau being like, all right, here's what we're going to do to get people fucking interested in Star Wars again. And just being passionate about a project and creating something that's actually fucking good, instead of just being like, all right, well, here's the thing. We slap a licensed name on it and we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I was gonna use movie directors as a good example as well, where it's like you kind of, and even you hear it all the time, right? Where you have directors who you get a reputation of being hard to work with for actors, or you get actors who are hard to work with because of what they deem they have. And I feel like that again, you usually get shitty movies when it comes out. When you hear about that kind of stuff and you see the movie afterwards, you're like, okay, you can definitely tell that there was no real good teamwork there. But yeah, I agree with that, Jack. I feel like it does start with the writing. It does start with like the building blocks of the thing, and then it goes from there for sure.
Like, I saw a good post the other day where like when they started doing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they had this grand design, and they were really involved with everyone in the writers' room, and all the actors were really passionate. And now, to like prevent leaks and to like get things going, they film like everything in secret. Like actors get redacted scripts that they don't understand the context of. Everything is shot in fragments, and like no one knows what the fuck is going on. And then eventually a movie releases, and sometimes that actor has like a really big role, and sometimes not at all. Like, I can't think of the actor's name, but the guy who plays Falcon, he
Oh yeah.
he was like, oh yeah, I went to the movie. I went to the premiere with my son or whatever. He's like, oh, my son's gonna get to watch me in a couple of scenes. And then in that movie, he was made a fucking Avenger, and he didn't even know it. It's like, how is filming these movies like so secretive that the actors don't even know what's going on?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost come
nuts.
down to that with a lot of things, though. Like, you see leaks all the time of shit, and it just those leaks are ruining or having a larger impact on things than just, oh, we leaked that single movie, or oh, it's like having domino effect down the way for every industry. I'd say that has that kind of secrecy required. Like, you see it all the time. I mean, no one knew about the Mass Effect trilogy until the fucking retailer over in Europe leaked the remaster art and pre-order. So, I mean, again, how does that happen? Like, I don't know the intricacies. I get it's part of their website, and they're probably setting it up, and they accidentally clicked something, and it made it public instead of private, or something like that. But at the same time, it's like how do you honestly like not have, people, like multiple people checking this thing, right?
Well, it could even just be like someone, like some big Mass Effect fan takes a screenshot, sends it to their Discord group, and like, hey boys, keep this quiet, but hey, new Mass Effect coming. Ooh, I'm the web administrator for fucking Walmart Spain or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's like I don't know. It sucks because it makes it really tough for games, and there's something about that big anticipation until there was an actual announcement about the game that was really awesome. Like, I always assumed, and I think I've talked to Jack about this, I kind of assumed they were going to do a remaster of the old trilogy just because, I mean, it had so much success. BioWare has been kind of suffering for some success in the last little while. So I figured, hey, that'd be pretty good with the Mass Effect trilogy. I knew it was coming, but it still was kind of shitty to find out that way instead of finding out, on N7 day like they originally planned, where they were going to announce everything and release. It was like they did in the end, but we already knew about it. I bet you they weren't even going to announce the new Mass Effect game, but they had to add something that was unique and new to the fucking pot because the other thing already got revealed.
I wonder, actually. That's a good question, because we've talked about this before. Like, game companies sometimes like announce games so early on. I just don't even understand why.
No, to me, if it's not within the year of it coming out, I don't think you should really. I think then you end up just adding those unrealistic expectations early on, and you get things like what happened to Cyberpunk, where they've delayed like 12 times.
Well, I wonder when Bethesda Starfield they first announce it.
Yeah,
because
that's a good question.
Or like how they teased Elder Scrolls 6. Like,
oh fuck, that is so stupid. Like
here's some rocks and a title, like the title of the game.
It's like, yeah, we know it's gonna be a thing. Just tell us when, it's like here.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing with, like, although regardless of how people received Fallout 4, that was one of the biggest things with Fallout 4 is there was so much speculation there was going to be one, but it didn't get announced until the year it was being released, and it was being released on I think was it a next gen release or no? Yeah, it was. It launched on with the Xbox One and PS4. If I'm correct. The Fallout 4.
I don't think it launched, but.
I think it was released in late 2014. No, late 2015, I think, because I think it was in my first year of university when I played 10th, it, or when it came out.
Okay, but either way, it's like they didn't announce that game. they didn't give any reveal to it until the year it was being released, and I thought that was kind of unique. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's different, right?
Like, I don't know.
I'd say 2 years would be max, because then you're like, at least maybe you'll have something more than just a floating picture, like you said, where Elder Scrolls comes across the screen, and you're like, well, no fucking shit. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do
Like,
you
it's
think
almost, once you get over the initial hype, it's like, why do I give a shit? Why do I give a shit about a game that I'm not going to see for?
You can't even pre-order it. I feel like that's
yeah.
one of the biggest things with big announcements like that, is the ability that it's like, hey, you can now pre-order this game now that we have this announcement.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a good point about that. I just think it's just stupid. Like, 2 years is still, to me, a little bit far-fetched, but you shouldn't announce a game until you have more to show for it. Like, even if it's a little bit more, like a simple, like even what Avowed did, or Obsidian did with Avowed, where they had that animation, is still a little bit better. But I still think you should have a little bit of gameplay with it. Like, I don't know.
I'm not playing the game for your cinematic trailer. Like, oh, you can do an awesome pre-rendered cutscene. That's awesome. That's
Let's just
great.
return. Let's remember Rise, Roman Empire.
Try not to remember that. What an embarrassment.
Epic cinematic video turns into like a shit game. Oh man, that's funny.
That's why Halo Infinite was delayed. That way it wouldn't be the rise of this console generation.
They got scared. They got PTSD from Rise.
They totally did. That's why all this marketing shit's out, because they've totally planned to have it out now. That was their plan, but they were like, "Fuck, boys, we got to throw in the towel."
It's like you kind of talk about companies. I mean, I kind of give the benefit of the doubt. At least they made the call. Like, you guys fucked up. No one's denying that. They messed up with what they produced. But, like, I give them the benefit of the doubt. They acknowledged it, and they're trying to change it. But at the same time, it just seems like an odd thing to have come out, and it's like, ooh, look, Halo.
It's public acknowledge. It's just an acknowledgement of their dung goof
Defeat.
Like,
They should have fucking left Master Chief floating in space after Halo 3, honestly.
Because they could have explored, like, I don't know. I actually quite enjoyed. I played ODST once. I didn't play, like, I beat it once. I didn't play it multiple times through, but I played it once. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. I'm not as in depth with the Halo community, but I actually didn't mind ODST. It was a little short, but it's pretty fun.
I think that's kind of what the gaming community had to say about it. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's not bad. It's not Halo, the original trilogy, but
yeah. But I feel like it's hard to beat that, because that trilogy was like, it wasn't just acknowledged on Xbox. People who didn't have Xboxes knew what it was. People who, like, it was one of those series where it was just acknowledged by everyone. Well, everyone knows about it. Even non-gamers have probably heard about Halo at some point in their fucking lives.
Even in, like, this year, 2020, when the Master Chief Collection came to PC, people were like, PC gamers were like, let's go. Hell yeah. All of Halo on PC? I've been meaning to launch it up to see what kind of enhancements they made, because they made enhancements in it in general from the old games for graphics and everything. I was curious to see. I haven't launched it nor looked up anything on it. I'd be curious what they enhanced for the Series X and Series S. I'm assuming the enhancement is. I was gonna say, I'm assuming the enhancements they literally took what they could do on PC and just kind of made it for the Series X kind of thing. I imagine developers have, like, internally, they have this, like, the PC settings they give everyone, and they're just like, yeah, we'll add that from medium to high. There you go. Here's your next gen upgrade.
But yeah, I also have to wonder about games like Halo. Like, who gives a fuck? Unless you're like Evan and you love the Halo series. But, like, how many big Halo fans are there nowadays?
Can't be many. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be a dying community relative to, like, some of the other big ones.
I don't. You don't hear.
That's what 3 shitty games in a row will do to someone.
Well, even for me, like I said this when Graydon and I played through it, like I didn't care. Like at least they had a story for 1, 2, and 3, and then the rest of them that I played with Graydon, I just was like, ooh, this is like a Call of Duty with a Halo skin over top of it. I'm just running around shooting shit. Doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck about the story?
And that, like you see when games like start going down that path of like mediocre to bad in the series. It happened with Resident Evil, and then they were like, "Well, what do we do? Well, let's fucking reboot the series, do some re-releases of or like full like redos of old games that make it worth playing again." And like bring the next generation in to like love these games. Like Resident Evil 7 looks fucking phenomenal, and
It's great.
a lot of people who aren't Resident Evil fans played it. And then the remakes of 2 and 3 looks really fucking good as well. So lots of people who weren't Resident Evil fans played them. Like that's how you reboot a series.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with like a game like Resident Evil is they saw success with Resident Evil 4 and that kind of progressive adventure map style where it's like, you know, you go from area to area to area to area. Whereas a lot of their other games, like the original Resident Evils, were all like one of the things I really enjoyed the most because Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite Resident Evils from back when I played it on the PlayStation. And it was really neat to have that kind of come back, like you said, in those next gen world with them doing the remakes as well as Resident Evil 7, again, bringing back that, you know, you're in this one area, but you have to try to unlock this area more and more and more as you progress through the game. And I think that's just neat. It adds that challenge to it because I found Resident Evil 4 was a great game. Like I think that's everyone will say that. Resident Evil 5 was a fun co-op game,
an action
to play
shooter,
with a friend.
Yeah, not a
it was
game.
a fun co-op game to play. Resident Evil 6, I don't know what happened. Something went wrong. Someone got hurt emotionally, and they made a game that they shouldn't have made. And then you have Resident Evil 7, and it brings it back around. So I feel like you need to know how to reboot the series when you've seen it going in the wrong direction. And I feel like a lot of reboots, like you said, Jack, just don't do that. They don't.
They're lazy.
Yeah. Like even for the Mass Effect remaster, like I'm hoping they do more than just bundle the games together and say, "Here you go, here's your game, congratulations."
Yeah.
Like I hope they take the time to like upgrade the graphics.
The gaming industry has changed in the past decade. You know, it's changed in pretty substantial ways, and people's tastes are incredibly different. And people like 343 are just like, well, Halo is a first-person shooter, so we need to make another first-person shooter. It's like, you're not going to have the same level of success with a Halo game that you did in 2007 when Halo 3 was released. It was the biggest like first-person trilogy out there at the time, and people loved it. And then what you wrapped it up with a nice bow, and you left the possibility there. And then the 2010s came along, and you fucking chucked it out the window. You had so much potential, but no.
Yeah,
you did.
I would love a Halo RPG.
You know, the people that careful what you fucking wish
yeah,
for.
I don't know about that one, Coach.
But it's like, how do you like make that engaging content for like the new generation of games? Because if you like re-released Halo 3 right now, like, or a game like Halo 3, it'd be fine, but it wouldn't be the same game that, you know, came out in 2007. Whereas you look at something like Doom and Doom Eternal, like that's how you actually make like a good first-person shooter in a similar vein to Halo nowadays. You just say, fuck it, it's fun as hell to run around the map gunning down your enemies. But like, yeah, I don't know if you can do that with like the more story-focused Halo kind of franchise. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm skeptical that Halo is ever going to see like the comeback that they're expecting. I'm skeptical that something like Call of Duty is ever going to make the kind of comeback that they're releasing a game every year and it always sells copies, but it can't be the same numbers that they were putting out in the early 2010s.
That'd be a good question. That'd be good, interesting to see, because I mean, we still have quite a few people that we know that play hard. Like, we played it for a bit. We played some drops and stuff in Warzone and did pretty decent. But I know, like, Brendan, Alec, Matt, they all play Call of Duty a lot. Like, they drop ridiculous. They do Warzone drops almost, I think, every week at least. I know Brendan plays them pretty hardcore. Like, he's a pretty big Call of Duty guy. Just based on how many levels he has in Call of Duty and all that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm on the same line with you, Jack. Like, they don't do anything different in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, they do different sometimes, but it's usually in a really weird and obscure kind of shitty way.
Like, hey, the new Halo's here. We have a grappling hook now. Cool. I guess.
So many other games that have grappling hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do it probably better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of games, like the Halo series, I think runs a lot off of nostalgia. Like the Master Chief Collection, for example, being released on multiple generations of consoles. I think it runs huge off of nostalgia of the games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I agree. I don't think if you released, I don't know if you released a Halo 3, like say Halo 3 didn't exist and you released it, you had Halo 1 and 2 and Halo 3 released in 2020, dealing with the kind of other kind of really advanced first-person shooters, like add graphics to it and gameplay updates and everything. Do you still think it wouldn't do well, or do you think it's just because they wrapped it up so nicely that now Halo is struggling to make more I guess 343 is struggling to make more Halo games?
I think because it's an outdated game. And if you want to play it, you'll just get the Master Chief Collection. Or if they try and like do a game that it's like, all right, we're stripping back to the bare bones. We're making a modern game that's like Halo 3. It wouldn't do as well because people expect more from a game nowadays. I had a good example of it from PlayStation. So PlayStation tried to do like a Halo-esque clone kind of idea with the Resistance series. So Resistance 1, 2, and 3 were like their kind of version of it that I played. And they were alright games. They never did super, super well. Like, they were fun. It was more realistic Earth kind of alien invasion kind of game, but it had the same style where it's like, you have this main character who is like somehow he is the key to survival in this case. And they never did it well, and I feel like there's probably some other Halo clones that you could find out there that also tried to do a similar idea that just didn't do as well. And it's like now the new Halos are trying to be Halo clones of themselves and try to mimic their success kind of thing. And they're just not doing a good job of it at all.
Yeah, at the time they were like top-notch FPS games with an awesome story to go with it. So of course, people are going to love these games, but now you have the story wrapped up nicely, and now you're just poking sticks at it, trying to milk it for everything it has with this gameplay that is, it's essentially just Call of Duty gameplay, so it doesn't give anyone a reason to care. Why play that when I have so many other games I could be playing?
It even hit more. Like, it had not only that, it had the challenge difficulties you could do. Like, it targeted a lot of different gamer styles, the original Halos. And they, like, even Grade and I playing on Legendary through all the other new ones, the new ones are nowhere near that. They kind of got rid of that difficulty of Legendary. Like, Halo 2 to me is still the most fucked up thing when it comes to Legendary difficulty, just because you can't abuse that. Okay, your turn, you run in, you kill as many as you can, and then I'll run in.
Nope.
So I think, I don't know. I don't think it'll do well. They'd have to really step up their game, like severely step up their game to make a Halo perform well, I think now.
I think they realize that, so we'll see how long it's delayed. Because, right now it just says 2021. No month, no nothing.
Oh.
You can only have so many shitty games come out before companies got to start looking at each other and being like, what the fuck did you do wrong that I'm going to just copy right now that I should probably not copy to have a good game? right? Like there's so many big titles that come out, and you're just like, it's a game, it plays. I can start it on my console and stop it when I want.
That's how I feel about the Watch Dogs games. Never.
I played Watch Dogs 1 for a little bit, and I got extremely bored of it.
I don't understand how Watch Dogs continues to be like something that people play after how shitty the first one was. Like, they had Watch Dogs 2, and now we're on Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know if there were any other ones, but like
Watch 1, 2, and now Legions.
How did the second game, like the second and third game, get made?
No
one had anything good to say about the first one.
No, the first one was like a shitty version of Grand Theft Auto meets some futuristic hacking gimmick, and it wasn't very good. I Legions, from what I heard, wasn't I mean, when a game is released and then almost immediately goes on sale, I feel like
but like
you really hit it there.
People do play the games and seem to enjoy them. Like, I think Legions has a fairly large player base, from what I understand. And it's an Ubisoft game, right?
Yeah.
Ubisoft in general, their games have like they have large specific fans. Like their fans are like hardcore to a game they play. It's like Siege fans. Like, you have a lot of it. I wouldn't say it's the largest game. It has an esports following, but it doesn't have as large as like League of Legends or something. But it has a following, but it's very specific. Like, it's people who have played other Rainbow Six games, or it's people who played other Ghost Recon games for like Breakpoint and Wildlands. Like, we have Breakpoint and Wildlands, got them on sale, so I'm not super heartbroken about it, but they were not over the top great games. Like, I could see who they appeal to some people, but it's just not for me, not my style. They tried to like make an open world progress and build your own character in a game that really shouldn't have an open world progress and build your own character.
Yeah. I think the only reason that Watch Dogs did get 2 more games is because it belongs to Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is willing to make the same game 7 different fucking times with like minimal improvements. Like, for some reason they don't care. That's their thing.
Well, because people will buy it. People are buying. So why bother? Why you can use the same bones in every game, just slaps some new paint on it, and people will buy it. Yeah.
I think the only game they actually got slapped in the face for, and they actually did, and I played this, and I played both of them actually, to honestly say this, is The Division. Like, it wasn't a game, like the first one, when it first launched, it was a neat idea, but it was, again, a rough launch, like a very rough launch for an online open world like that. And I played a bit of the first one, it was all right, and then the second one went on sale for dirt cheap, so I was like, I'll play it, because I like the idea. I was really hoping they'd improve it, and they did. Division 2 was actually a fairly good game. It just had such a bad reputation behind it that that it just wasn't, no one bought it. Like, no one trusted it. And I think, like, it was one of those things where they tried something new, so it didn't have the same following already, like Watch Dogs did, or like Ghost Recon does, or like any of the Rainbow Six games do. So it didn't have that survivability that they did. Whereas, like you said, Legions is being played, people like it. Like, there's quite a few copies sold, but it's, I don't think they're grabbing new populations. You know what I mean? Like, they're not bringing anyone new to the game. They're just keeping who they have. And I don't know if that's really a viable way to go. Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you got to imagine that maybe some people care, but like, I don't think I give a shit about anything that Ubisoft does anymore. Like, when I think about Ubisoft, I'm almost embarrassed how many years I spent playing Assassin's Creed games. I fucking started with 2, I went to Brotherhood, I went to Revelations, I went to 3, I went to Black Flag, and then I went to the next gen, and I was like, okay, fuck this. That's 5 games that I was so invested in. I cared so much about the story. And like, by Revelations, you could kind of see things were going downhill, and it's like, well, I gotta stick this out, because maybe something good's gonna happen here. Revelations, the only thing Desmond's stuck in the fucking cyberspace with some asshole, and then at the end of the game he walks into a monolith and it's like, okay, cool, Desmond, your coma's over. Like, that's all that happens in the story in that game. Ezio's story doesn't matter at all, except that he goes to the Middle East and finds Altair's skeleton.
Nothing fucking matters about that game. Then 3 was like the biggest piece of dog shit that I convinced myself was a good game. And now looking back, I hate that game more than anything. And then Black Flag was good.
I honestly, since Black Flag, I've liked them. I've liked them because they have changed and made things new, and they've taken good aspects of the older games and incorporated them into them. Like Valhalla is an excellent game. I would defend that game quite hard. Like it's
the internet disagrees with you, Jarrod.
Yeah, but you know why? A lot of the comments they're talking about, a lot of the mechanics they hate are the fucking mechanics that were involved in the old games, which is absolutely hilarious. Like one of the big reviewers that I think it was the ASG reviewer or AGS or one of them. Their biggest argument was talking about how they're like, I hate this new mechanic they added where you have to blend into a crowd. And I was like, that's an old mechanic they brought back from the old games. It's actually something that I've utilized a lot when I've gone into areas. And I used a lot when I played the original games. I feel like what they're battling with now with the new games is that they're trying to, like Odyssey, I really enjoyed it. Assassin's Creed kind of walked the line of being an Assassin's Creed. It wasn't super Assassin's Creed-esque, I found. Like it tried to build a story of like before the Assassins or like post whatever. And then Origins was, I just liked being in Egypt. That was the only fascination I really had with Origins. I just like going in through all the cool landmarks and all that kind of thing. But Valhalla has quite a lot of the stuff. They incorporated a lot of the combat stuff I really enjoyed. They made the combat harder and more diverse than it was before. Like they made it so it's like you couldn't just do like in even Odyssey you could sit there and fucking counter, but you can't do that anymore. But I don't know. I think Valhalla did an excellent job. Valhalla and Black Flag are easily up there for my favorites, and then I'd say number 1. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed 1 when I played it.
I look at Origins and I look at Odyssey and I look at Valhalla and I'm like, why am I supposed to fucking care? Like it looks like the same fucking game in 3 different time periods, and I don't know how it relates to Assassin's Creed at all. Assassin's Creed started during the Crusades. It was like, there's this order of assassins fighting the Templars. Like, okay, that makes sense. And then it moves on, 400 years later. All right, we're in the Renaissance now. It's like, okay, that makes sense. And then you just move on through time, and now they're just jumping between different time points, different cultures that have no fucking reason to interact with each other, especially if you're a secret society of assassins and like New World Order Templar assholes. It's like where does I don't know, because where's the story at this point? How much has been resolved? How much is like still ongoing? Like, does it matter? Does anything fucking matter? Do they still have the dumb shit in the modern day? Did they bring Desmond back to life?
It actually does matter in Valhalla. They bring back it's actually, believe it or not, it's interesting. In Valhalla, I mean, do you guys? From this conversation, I think you guys don't give a shit if I spoil anything in the story.
I could not give a shit.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the game you don't start as an assassin. You're just literally in a Viking clan. You're doing your thing. One of the members of your clan is exploring the world, Sigurd, and he brings back 2 of the assassins from the actual Creed, like from when he was over in Spain. And they brought over the Creed because they're trying to expand the whole point is it's almost like they reverse kind of what they're doing in the original Assassin's Creed, where it's like the assassins are trying to stop the expanding Templars. It's almost like they've incorporated it. They're trying to now show, like Odyssey and Origins, I 100% agree with you, Jack. Where the fuck is the connection to the Assassin's Creed, right? Like there really is none. You're literally, they slap the logo on something and say that you're taking down some order that has nothing to really do with the Templars. Whereas this game is very reminiscent of, you can tell that it's Templars, because it's that medieval period. It's like you're getting in, you're still incorporating the old assassins. They set up a bureau inside your new settlement that is created. I'm not going to go into detail of why they created a new settlement. There's a whole thing adding to that. But anyways, it's like, and you explore all the old bureaus of when the Templars actually ravaged a lot of the Assassin's Creed groups in different towns and stuff like that. And there's a lot of history for the assassins that you go through that I found has been super, super fascinating to kind of get to know, that they that explains and helps connect. And they mention members of like they mention Altair, they mention literally everyone leading up until the shitty Assassin's Creeds, where they just kind of start to not really do anything, like Unity and even I 3 again was kind of like Odyssey for me. It was an action game. It wasn't really an Assassin's game kind of thing. But like they do hint back on that. That's why I defend Valhalla. Like Origins and Odyssey, fair enough. I see where everyone's argument is against those games. It's 100% fair. I just like the time periods. But Valhalla actually, Ubisoft did do a noticeable effort to start to like tie it back to the Assassins and like make those connections and show it as the Assassins expanding, not just you're this person who's associated apparently somehow, some magical way, you're doing the exact same work that someone 10,000 years down the road's doing as well.
So they got there after 2 games. They finally got back to the Assassin's Creed part of the game.
Yes, they finally got back to the Assassin's Creed part of the game. It's been really fun. Like the history they're bringing through the Assassins has been really fascinating. It's like they're trying to bring back. It's like after the devastation of like what the Templars did to them, essentially. They're starting to bring back how they're trying to bring in and grow the Creed again. And I think that's at least a decent enough story. The storyline's been really good. I've cared about it. They've done a good job with it, for my opinion, on the game. I just think a lot of people are bitching about it because they made the game harder than it was before, and they made you actually rely a lot more on being like an assassin. Like you can, like if I fuck up at being an assassin on the hardest difficulty, if I fuck up my stealth and get caught, it's a really rough time. Like it is not a fun time to get caught in that game. But I think I like what they've done with it. I think Valhalla is a good fresh take on the series. I think I'm bringing back old concepts as well as the actual lore behind the assassins. It was very reminiscent. So I feel like you got to give them that benefit of the doubt. The Odyssey, Origins, yeah, that doesn't make really any sense for Assassin's Creed. Just cool time periods.
You should go.
I didn't like Syndicate either. I don't delve onto Reddit and talk to people because, like, again, it doesn't matter what game you find. People are gonna find things to bitch about.
No. Reddit's a battlefield. That's how I view that platform.
Yeah, like the amount of times I go on anything and they're like, "This is shit version of this game," and it's just people who have played hardcore versions of a game and they're just like, "This other version sucks," just because it's not their game, right? It's really weird, but yeah.
Well, thanks for the small review, Jarrod.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I know Graydon's been enjoying Assassin's Creed Valhalla quite a bit too.
Well, I know
that's got to be getting close to time, right?
Oh yeah, no, we're over time.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, that was the whole. We were all over the place, that podcast.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, we had our categories to a degree. Our main topic, game development. Our expertise in game development.
Game development.
Do you agree?
And coffee brands.
Welcome to the Live Connections Marketing Masterclass.
Oh, yikes.
This class is actually worth $7,000 and you just got it for free for a short period of time.
Made the joke before I said. Lucky for you, it's now on sale for 75% off for the rest of time. But it's limited time, so you better act fast.
Oh man, that's excellent.
That's good.
Well, lucky for everyone watching, subscribing is free, everyone. So you can do
Except
that
on Twitch.
Jarrod, I thought I came up with a clever outro and you just got to poke holes in it. Don't subscribe on Twitch. No. We're Live Connection. We're on YouTube, Twitch. We stream twice a week. This Thursday, I'm excited for the Video Game Awards. We'll see if our predictions were right. If you are interested in what we think are going to happen, check out our previous podcast. And we hope to see you guys there.
See you guys there. Have a great rest of your Sunday.